welcome to the NewsX Sunday Guardian Roundtable. Well, this week we're taking a look at the elections that finally political activity has started again, and there are elections next month, both in the state of Bihar and also a slew of by-elections in Madhya Pradesh. Now, there is a lot of focus in Bihar, but Madhya Pradesh seems to go unnoticed, where there is a very high voltage, high profile battle being fought between the BJP and the Congress, but actually on the ground, it's really between Kamal Nath, the former Congress chief minister, and Jyotiraditya Scindia, who has defected to the BJP. It's a matter of pride, matter of ego for both sides, more than the numbers, of course. The numbers game, of course, as it stands, the BJP has about 107 seats, the Congress has 88 in a 230-member house. So you can do the maths. BJP, I think, needs 9 to have an outright majority. For Congress, the task is much tougher. But as I said, in politics, always it's not just the numbers, it's also other things that matter. To discuss the oncoming elections with a special focus on Madhya Pradesh, I have joining me Rashid Kidwai. He's the author of 24 Akbar Road, and of course, a keen eye on Madhya Pradesh polls and what is happening with the Congress at the center. Ashutosh, he is the co-founder of SatyaHindi.com, a columnist, author, and also a journalist, a former journalist. Neeja Chaudhary, she's commentator, political columnist, and senior journalist. Radhika Ramaseshan, also an author, columnist, and she's also the consulting editor at Business Standard. Rashid, you're really a man on the ground in Bhopal. What is happening in Madhya Pradesh, and can you, quickly tell us the stakes that are there, the ego battle between Kamal Nath and Scindia, really?
Thank you, Priya. There are a lot of issues actually at stake. There is, of course, a direct fight between BJP and Congress where, winner takes it all. For BJP, it's a lot more easier because remember, in the state assembly of 230, they already have 107. So they need just, 8 seats or so to get that magic figure. But remember, there are 22 Congress MLAs who defected to the BJP and subsequently 3 more. 25 MLAs have defected. So BJP has to prove a point that these people are with them and capable of winning. Remember, there were 3 deaths of, 3 MLAs, 2 of them are from BJP. So there are 27 MLAs who supposedly BJP wants them to win. And that's in the kind of selection of candidates, they just had to select 3 candidates because all the Congress defectors were given ticket. Then there is a Scindia question because the state election will be fought on Shivraj Singh Chauhan's name. So where is Jyotiraditya Scindia, who was an architect or so to say recurring chief of Kamal Nath government in Madhya Pradesh. From the Congress side, it is a lone a grim battle for Kamal Nath. Remember, he's 72, 73 year old, a very seasoned politician, man who was just once, he is won 9 Lok Sabha elections and assembly elections. So he has a point to prove. But age is not in his side. The Congress, dynamics are not in his side. You saw how Mr. Rahul Gandhi, in a way, sort of snubbed him by saying that he doesn't agree with that, item reference, without realizing that this is, much in the heat of Madhya Pradesh assembly elections, and where BJP is known to make all kind of pronouncements. So in that sense, Kamal Nath is slightly, I think, is taken aback by these developments.
Neerja, I said it's an ego battle really between Kamal Nath and Scindia, but Scindia is not even there. How do you find Scindia within the BJP also? It's also another sub-battle is Scindia versus the BJP, as Rashid was saying. I don't know whether Shivraj Singh Chauhan really wants Scindia to succeed in so many numbers. He just wants to save his government and that's it.
I think, it's not about the survival of the government. Point number 1, because the Congress will have to win all the 28 seats to get past the Lakshman Rekha. So it's a question of, you're absolutely right when you say it's a question of what this election does for various individual leaders. Shivraj Chauhan, yes, he's had to bow to Scindia, this newcomer coming in with his people, and give all the, the large number of tickets have gone to Scindia's people. He's had to take people in his cabinet, and therefore the earlier halo around him has got a little bit of a dimming through this whole process. Now, if he manages to form a government comfortably without having to depend on the Independence BSP and the suspended Samajwadi Party MLA, then he will become stronger. Now, if Scindia also takes, not all his people win, suppose it's only half. then that's probably the best case scenario for Shivraj Chauhan, because it gives comfort to his government, and yet Scindia's image takes a little bit of beating. Now, if Scindia doesn't do well, if his people don't do well in this by-election, then he will be pushed to the margins that much more inside the BJP. We know what happens to outsiders who go into the BJP. And even though Scindia's grandmother was a very important figure, Rajmata, in the BJP, I think it's not going to be all that easy unless he does a very good showing this time. The other person who we need to watch out for is Digvijay Singh and his son. I think the stakes are high, not so much for Kamal Nath as for Jayawardhan Singh. He's the one who's been coordinating with Kamal Nath. And Digvijay, the field is now open for Digvijay Singh. All the old contenders who fought, each other, Scindia is out, Ajay Singh is out. So it's really the field clear for Digvijay Singh and his son. And again, if they make a good showing here, then they will be calling the shots in the Congress in the months to come. So it's the prestige of the leaders that's at stake, so much more than the survival of the government.
The Ashutosh, fight of the individuals, really. I remember you wrote a book also, not about these, but it was about Kejriwal, Modi and Rahul, and one was a princeling and this thing. Here we have another princeling. I think the title of the book was a princeling and this thing. So there's what would you call this? Kamal Nath, Scindia and Chauhan. If you wrote a book on this.
See, the title of the book was The Crown Prince, The Gladiator and The Hope. So Hope, where I do not know. The Gladiator is still running very fast, and the Crown Prince is still the Crown Prince. He doesn't want to change himself. In Madhya Pradesh, I think the 2-3 things. First of all, I completely agree with Nirja ji and Rashid bhai that there is no danger to the government. So absolutely. But the point is that this election will prove where the Jyotiradish Scindia will fit into the BJP. First of all, I personally feel that he committed a blunder by crossing over to the Congress. For the simple reason, in BJP there is a Shivraj Singh Chauhan, and then there is Narendra Singh Tomar, and then there is Narottam Mishra. So if at all there is Jyotiradish Scindia space for it, he is number 4 in BJP. And those who are born and brought up in the RSS ideology and had been to the Shakha for all their life, why will they leave space for somebody who has just come in and who doesn't want to work hard, despite the Vijayaraje Scindia? So if BJP, if out of 22 his supporters, if Congress could win even 10 seats or 7-8 seats, it will be lost for the Jyotiradish Scindia, and that is one reason Jyotiradish Scindia is trying to work hard. Secondly, Jyotiradish Scindia had never been a slogger. He had all through a Maharaja and the Prince and all. If he should be happy if he's inducted into the central cabinet minister, and if he loses more than 10 seats in his own borough, then it will be very, very difficult for him. I think after the Kamal Nath, for the Kamal Nath, there is hardly anything to lose and hardly anything to gain. Kamal Nath has hardly anything to prove. He proved himself totally incompetent by letting the government go. If he could not reconcile with Jyotiradish Scindia, he could not manage those people. Obviously, it was a commentary on him. Look at Rajasthan. Ashok Gehlot fought like anything. He saved his government despite Sachin Pilot. So I think there is neither win nor loss for the Kamal Nath Scindia, but it will be loss and loss for Jyotiradish Scindia. Shivraj Singh Chauhan will be happy if Jyotiradish Scindia loses 10 seats. Narottam Mishra will be more than happy, and Narendra Singh Tomar will also be very, very happy. So it is only Jyotiradish Scindia who has to prove himself.
The election for Scindia to win or lose, Radhika, he's already, I think, in the list of campaigners, he's number 10. The head of the campaign committee chief in the Congress is now reduced to a number 10 footnote in the BJP campaign list. He's already taken a huge ego beating, hasn't he? But I disagree, Ashutosh, with one thing that you said before I asked Radhika is, I think it's a win or die for Kamal Nath also, because this is his last attempt at being relevant. So I don't think that, for him, the stakes are equally high, isn't it? It's more highest for Scindia and Kamal Nath, Radhika.
Absolutely. And I think somewhere the desperation in Kamal Nath is showing, I mean, of course, politicians are given to using intemperate language, but Kamal Nath kind of made a blunder, though I think Rashid may not agree with me. Of course, for politicians, as I said, use intemperate language, but for Kamal Nath, a seasoned guy like Kamal Nath, to thoughtlessly call his opponent or the Congress's opponent as an item number was not the most prudent thing. I mean, it's just given a handle to the BJP. It doesn't lie in the BJP's mouth to criticize Kamal Nath, because some of its own leaders have also used foul language against their opponents in the past. Just today, we have an instance of somebody who's who's kind of abused his a person from the Congress called his wife Raquel. I mean, how obnoxious is that? So, the intensity of this election can be gauged by the fact that it's become so vicious, so low life, because you have a galaxy of leaders who have to prove themselves. It's not a question of one being of lesser importance than the other. All of them have a point to prove, whether it is Shivraj Singh Chauhan, Jyotiraditya, of course, he's become the centerpiece, Digvijay Singh and his son Jayawardhan, and Narottam Mishra. I mean, he's also from Chambal, and he's dying to become the chief minister. I mean, that's not a hidden thing at all. So, it's really a galaxy of leaders who pitch themselves in order to prove a point. So issues have got thrown by the wayside. Because if you remember in the assembly elections, the SC/ST Act's dilution became a big issue in Chambal, and that really helped the Congress. Unfortunately, that has got diluted in these elections. Nobody's talking about the farming laws. I mean, agriculture was also a big issue in the Madhya Pradesh assembly elections. It's now become only about personalities. And I do think that Kamal Nath, it could be his last hurrah if the Congress does manage to win even 15 seats. I mean, that some of the credit has to go to Kamal Nath, although Digvijay Singh and his son are also working very quietly on the ground. But alternatively, if the BJP swings like 10 or 15 seats, I mean, Chauhan will want to take the credit, and not give it entirely to Jyotiraditya Scindia. And you are right, Jyotiraditya Scindia has to learn his lessons, that the BJP is not a Congress. I mean, his own aunts in the BJP have been absolutely sidelined. Of course, his grandmother was one of the founding members of the Jan Sangh, and she was important in the BJP, but things are not always the same. Having said that, since we are on this outsider-insider question, if you take an example of a state like Assam, both the chief minister and Himanta Biswa Sarma, who's virtually, you can say, the number one or the second in command, are outsiders to the BJP. Sarvanand Sonowal was in the AJP, and Himanta, of course, came from the Congress. So the BJP is flexible, contrary to what people think, that, you must have an RSS background, you must be ideologically inflexible. Within the bounds of discipline, there is a kind of flexibility in the BJP that you don't really see in too many other parties. When an outsider suits them, when expediency calls for it, they are pretty kind to outsiders. However, I don't know what lies in future for Jyotiraditya Scindia. To be sure, he'll get a cabinet berth in case the BJP does very well. But even if it does just moderately well, I think he will be accommodated in the cabinet, because I don't think they would want to have an irritant, I mean, because all of us are going to write, oh, Jyotiraditya, he's fallen by the wayside, like his aunts, and so on and so forth. I don't think the BJP or Amit Shah or Modi would want that kind of situation to arise. They will give him maybe not a ministry of his choice, but he will be given a cabinet.
Rashid, you're also working on a book on the Scindias, so right time, I think, for that book to come out. But where do you see the fate of Jyotiraditya Scindia? Radhika has talked a bit about it. Supposing he doesn't do well, then what happens? He'll get some kind of a berth, but uske aage?
I think Jyotiraditya Scindia or BJP, are not, positioned, Scindia for Madhya Pradesh. So Scindia is for national politics. And I think Scindia's political fortunes are very closely linked to Rahul Gandhi's relevance in the Congress. Scindia, to my mind, has been brought in BJP to check some kind of counterweight to Rahul Gandhi. So if Rahul sort of becomes, more successful or becomes Congress president, Scindia will always be used by the BJP, as Radhika ji is saying, as a cabinet minister, as a big national leader, to counter, to say that, look, here is Scindia, who is bilingual, who speaks well, who talks well, and here is Rahul Gandhi, So that kind of comparison is going to be there. I disagree with panelists in the sense that they say that it's a lost case for Congress in Madhya Pradesh. I don't think so. Remember, Kamal Nath is a very astute political player. As a Hindi film song goes, "Ke tu mere पैरों में घुंघरू बांध दे, फिर मेरी चाल देख ले." See, if Kamal Nath, and Congress gets anything with more than 15, 16, 17 seats out of this 28, Mr. Nath will be in hunting. Remember, in the state assembly, Congress has 88 MLAs. So if they get 20, they will have 108, one seat more than the BJP. There are a cluster of 7 SP, BSP, and independents who were with Kamal Nath, who are with Shivraj Singh Chauhan, and who are now saying that whoever wins, we will be with that. I mean, the state BSP president has said it so many words that he will be with the winner. So this possibility is very much there. Geographical terms, there are only 16 seats in Gwalior Chambal region. So if it is, and the other, 12 seats are outside that region. So it's not so much that, the stakes are equally high for the BJP. Remember, the 14 ministers who are not MLAs. So if half of them lose, it will be a huge snub and kind of, insult politically, insult to Mr. Shivraj Singh Chauhan. Just one more thing, Radhika ji was saying about the language that he used. I think there is everything. There is a reference to context. Of course, Kamal Nath needs to be condemned to be using that language. But recently there was actually a video of Imarti Devi dancing as a MLA and minister to the tune of, there is a song is there which says that Chhat pe soya tha behnoi, that kind of thing. So that was an item song. So since she was singing item song, in local area she was, dubbed as some kind of item girl. We don't get into it. This is all politically incorrect pronouncements. But what I'm saying is there was a history to it, and that is what Kamal Nath was catering to. And I'm not about Kamal Nath. I'm saying Mr. Rahul Gandhi should have thought of this before, distancing himself, because you are in midst of election, your party at stake. And here you have, Jersey cow and, 50 crore girlfriend. Who had condemned it? Did anybody from the BJP condemn that? Or was it there any discussion on any TV studio?
That's an interesting point that Rashid has raised, Nija. Also, this, because election on the ground, there is a lot of colloquial language that goes around. Should Rahul have pulled up Kamal Nath so publicly? And why do you see Kamal Nath after this? We've talked about Scindia. Let's now talk a bit about Kamal Nath, Nija.
Yeah, I would say, Priya, that, these sexist innuendos against women, no matter, you can dance, you can sing, it's okay. But you don't use that kind of language against men. Forget politics. If this is something we are going to accept and not criticize, then we are on a slippery slope, which we are on. Because as Radhika pointed out, this minister, the BJP minister calling the wife of his rival, Raquel, why is he mentioned the second wife as a wife? So there is a limit to all this. There is politics has its, limitations, okay. But we've got to go beyond that in terms of the kind of value system that we will promote or not promote. I would say that, and I would commend Rahul Gandhi for having criticized, even in the midst of a campaign that's very critical for them. But coming to the Imarti Devi factor, forget the item part of it, she is also emerging as a hero of this election. She herself has said that Shivraj Chauhan and Scindia have told her that if she does well in her election, she will be made the Deputy Chief Minister. And while, as Radhika was saying, the dilution in the SC/ST Act last time was a big factor with the Dalits, and there was a bund, and this was an area where huge numbers of people came out to protest. This time also there may be a Dalit factor. And I think this kind of language against Imarti Devi, how much of a impact is going to have remains to be seen. Of course, the BSP is fielded seats in all of tickets and people in all the constituencies. BSP is a strong factor here, and the BSP has said it's going to be kingmaker, and it is felt that the BSP will cut into the Congress's vote. So that itself also will, have a bearing on what happens in this area. So I think one other thing I would, before I stop, want to draw your attention to, Priya. If it is true that in a state like, we're not discussing Bihar, but in a state like Bihar, there is such a huge reaction. The kind of people turning up at Tejasvi Yadav's meeting, nobody expected it. He did not expect it. So there is an anger which is visible. And others have also covered elections, but having covered elections for decades, you recognize an audience which is live and an audience which is not live. And these are live ad audiences. And I would go to the extent, and having watched these photographs of the rallies, I would say there may be akrosh. और जब आक्रोश होता है ना, तो आप देखते नहीं किसके लिए वोट कर रहे हो आप. And it may well be कि खेल खत्म हो गया बिहार में NDA का. I would even go to the extent of saying, it's early to say that. But if these images that are coming are true, and if that is the case, that the hardship, economic distress, joblessness is of that kind in the villages of Bihar, then is it not possible that the same phenomenon is working out in the villages of Madhya Pradesh, in the Gwalior Chambal region? Is it going to be insulated? So that's a big question mark in one's mind. Uska kya asar hone wala hai?
Yeah.
And this, Radhika, I'll just take a short break and come back and hear what you have to say. And this very interesting question that has been posed by Neerja about the akrosh that is seeing, the impact in Bihar also. Quick word on that before we round up, but first a short break.
सो गया लगता है.
नॉक कीजिए ना.
आप नॉक कीजिए.
छूने से डर लगता है? ग्रीन लैम्प लैमिनेट्स 99.99% वायरस फ्री, हर सरफेस सेफ.
Chanel Dulux ambience, colors, finishes, or special effects. Personalize your world.
Dulux, Dulux, Dulux. कपड़े किधर गए?
New ठंडा cupboard.
Kelvin!
Always find what you're looking for. Kelvinator refrigerators with max storage. Kelvinator, ready for anything.
Hello and welcome back to the NewsX Sunday Guardian Roundtable. We are here discussing the elections in Madhya Pradesh and also a quick look at what's happening in Bihar. Radhika, you wanted to come into what you just said.
I wanted to come in on the BSP. The BSP factor is being inflated. All right, they won how many? 1 or 2 seats in the assembly. But to pitch the BSP as a kingmaker is highly exaggerated. In the natural course of things, the BSP would definitely be a factor. Right now, I do not think the BSP, which is like, which hasn't really covered itself in glory in Uttar Pradesh.
Ashutosh, Neerja raised the issue of Bihar. I know you're itching to talk about Bihar. So before you wind up, let's hear what you have to say.
See, I agree with Neerja what she said about that. There is a lot of enthusiasm. See, the public rallies, which I could understand, is not there are how many people are there, because these days it's very easy for people to have a large number of people attending your rallies. But how they respond to the leaders, what kind of energy is there, जोश कितना है उनके अंदर, और वो लीडर्स की बातों पर किस तरीके से रिएक्ट करते हैं. That's very, very important. And I think that is missing in Nitish Kumar's rallies, but it is very visible in Tejasvi's rally. And see, the two things which is very, very important is, first of all, you go to anywhere in Bihar, what I've been told that Lalu Prasad is completely missing from the poster. So that means that Tejasvi is trying to make a very clean cut from the past, and which Nitish Kumar is trying to remind people that, look, ये जो पति पत्नी का जो शासन था, पति पत्नी का शासन था. What Nitish has not realized is that the people after 2005, they have moved into the Nitish era. What Nitish Kumar has given, there is a 40% teachers vacancy there, and in the education in the school education index out of 20 big states, Bihar is on 19th. So you imagine what he has done. So people, after getting all kinds of, thanks to the Mandal, all kinds of Swabiman as a backward community or a Dalit community, now they want access to the education, equal access to the education, equality of opportunities in jobs. All those things are there. They also want a share in the wealth. So if that is not been provided by Nitish Kumar government, and he has not done it, If I give you data, in 2010, Nitish approval rating was something around 77% according to the CSDS. In 2015, it was 80%. This time the data says it's only 52%. And out of the data, 43% people don't want Nitish Kumar to come back. Only 38% people are saying there. And Tejaswi is very neck to neck. He's 27% his popularity rate and Nitish 31. And why I'm saying the Nitish has to be very, very scared about Tejaswi, because the incumbent chief minister and the prime minister always has an added advantage over the rivals. So 31%, I will say that Nitish is losing and Tejaswi is winning.
Neerja, how do you rate Tejaswi? You said the enthusiasm at the rallies. He's been missing until now. So can just the rallies enthusiasm translate into votes?
No, Priya, I also am one of those, who we thought he would be the, new star on the horizon. But in the Lok Sabha elections, he was quite disappointing. Another person, another leader with a silver spoon. That was the kind of impression one got. It has not to do with Tejaswi. Tejaswi happens to be the leader on the other side, a young man, of course, Lalu's son, that says something. It is to do with the people's anger against the present regime. It is to do with the economic distress. And then people don't watch, who's on the other side. And the question that comes to my mind in Bihar, hearing the feedback, people who went, the migrants who went there and have come back from their villages were openly saying that is baar Nitish ko hatana hai. Now, Radhika, here is an important question. Will the BJP make up for that? I don't know whether the BJP, whether the people, given their angle, will distinguish between Nitish Kumar and BJP who are in the same alliance. So if there is akrosh, if there is anger, then we don't know where the whole thing is going.
Yeah.
It could be just going the other way. And my question is then, does it mean similar sentiment is not there in Madhya Pradesh? How can you say that Bihar villages, because of economic distress, migration, COVID, whole host of joblessness, these are the issues that are very paramount, uppermost in people's mind, and that Madhya Pradesh is totally different. You cannot make that distinction. Those are questions that are coming up. Let's see how. I think it's even early days in Bihar. It's picking up by the hour, the campaign. So let's see where it goes. But I wouldn't be surprised that, that the NDA gets defeated, given what we've seen in the last days.
Yeah,
just 10 seconds.
We really have to see how Modi's campaign pans out, because conventional wisdom has it that the moment Modi goes on the stump, the momentum changes and the NDA could possibly get traction. But this is a state election, and it's very obvious that Tejaswi has been more or less accepted as an effective counterpoint to Nitish, judging by the crowds that are coming to his rallies. And I can tell you that these are not just the MY. He has transcended the RJD's base. I mean, these are people from all kinds of oppressed, marginalized castes who are flocking to his rally. And somewhere, I think even the center's policies on agriculture and various economic issues will be called to account in these elections. And as Neerja rightly says, if this is the trend in Bihar, Madhya Pradesh can't be very different. I mean, the issues might just overlap,
Just 10 seconds. See, I shared dais with Tejaswi in one of the rallies, and I was very stunned. In fact, stunned in the sense, the positive sense, because the way he spoke half an hour, and he was politically so correct. and I could see the glimpses of Lalu Prasad Yadav. It's too early. So those who think that Tejasvi has got things in the platter, it's not that. I think he has got that a little bit of charisma of his father. How much he evolves in future, it's really to be seen. But in this election, I think he's coming out and he's proving that he's not such a bad choice.
Okay. On that note, thank you all for joining us and giving us such a quick snapshot and a very in-depth one of two elections, really, both Madhya Pradesh by-polls and, of course, what is happening in Bihar. And if we are right, well, could throw up a very unexpected surprise in Bihar also. So let's see what happens. Thank you for watching this show, and thank you all for joining in.
Thank you.
Thank you.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.